Hello and welcome to our number talk. Today we are looking at the expression 48 plus 44. What we do in a number talk is we use mental math. That means no paper, no pencil, to try to solve an expression, and then we look at all the different ways that we could have figured it out. So before we go any further, let's go ahead and do that. Pause the video, figure out 48 plus 44 in your head. When you have the solution, unpause the video, and we will look at all of our strategies together. So the first thing that we can do is to use near doubles. So what this looks at is whether the two addends are close enough together to where we can use doubles. And they are really close. As you notice, I've got 44 over here. And if I kind of break up my first addend, I can get 44 right there. And doubles are really easy. So let me use the associative property to regroup these. The associative property is my grouping property. And what this does is this is going to take our two addends, and I'm going to regroup how I add them because the associative property needs three addends to work. So let's take my 48 and let's just reimagine it as this is the 4 plus 44. Right, so here's my 4 that I'm not going to use, and then what's in my yellow circle here is the 44 I'm going to use. And I'm going to bring that over here with my other 44. And I'm going to add them as doubles, because doubles are usually pretty easy to add, even if they're big doubles like 44 and 44. So the associative property lets me regroup how I add them. So I'm going to add my 44 and my 44 first. Those are my doubles. So you notice I kept the same three addends, 4 plus 44 plus 44. I just regrouped how I add them. So my 44 plus 44, that's easy. That's 88. Then I just need to add my 4 that's left over, and that's going to get me 92. Hopefully that's the answer you got in your head. We can also use the associative property to make tens. So what we do is we look at our addends. Let's look at our first addend and think, how far away is it from the next 10? And in this case, it's pretty close. We just need 2 more, and we're going to get the next 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 from our second addend, and I'm going to add them up with my first addend. So let's take our 48 plus 44. This time we're going to keep our 48 together, and we're going to take our 44 and reimagine it as the 2 that I need to get that up to a 50, and then whatever's left over, which happens to be 42. Remember, the associative property lets me regroup them, so I'm going to add my 48 and my 2 first. That's going to give me a 50. And then I've just got 42 left over, so 50 plus 42, that's not that bad. There's no regrouping necessary. We're going to get back up to our same 92. Most of you probably just use place value, and that's a great way to do this. So what we do is we take our tens, and we're going to add them first. So let's take our 48 plus 44. We're going to reimagine both of them in expanded form. So 40 plus 8. And 40 plus 4. Now, in order to get our 40 and our 40 together, we're going to need our associative property. That's our grouping property. But we're also going to need the commutative property. That's the order property that lets us change the order of our addends. 5 plus 8 is the same as 8 plus 5. So I want to reorder them and regroup them. I want to get my 40 and my 40 together, because that's going to be super easy. 40 and 40, that's 80. Now, I still need to add my 1s, so I'm going to take my 8, and I'm going to take my 4, and I'm going to kind of bring those together. So I've got my 8 plus my 4, and that's going to get 12. And 80 and 12, that's a pretty easy addition problem. That's going to get me back up to my 92. Now, we can also add up in chunks. This uses the associative property, keeps the first addend together, and just takes the tens of the second addend. So if we take our 48 plus 44, we're going to keep our 48 together. We're going to break up our 44 into place value, expanded form, 40 plus 4. And then we're going to use our associative property to take our 40 and our 48 and add them up first. That's going to get you 88. And then don't forget, you've got these 4 left over, so we're going to have to add those second. And so you notice how I just shifted the parentheses, but I kept all three addends identical. 48 plus 40 plus 4. So 88 plus 4, that's going to get me back up to, you guessed it, 92. Now, the final strategy is compensation. And what this does is this actually changes the addends. So we're going to look at both of our addends, and we're going to think which one is closest to the next 10. Just like we thought about in our making tens, it's this 48. Look how close that is. All we need is 2 more. But what we're going to do that's different is we're actually going to take these 2 away. So I'm going to take my 48 plus 44, and I'm going to actually take 2 away from my 44. It's going to be 42 now. But I'm going to reinsert them over here, and I'm going to add them back into my 48. So that's actually going to be a new number as well. And so this keeps a balanced expression because I took 2 away, added them to the other addend, and take a look at this. 50 plus 42. Look how easy that is to add. 50 and 40 is 90. 0 and 2 is 2. So I got my 92 by making a different problem. Those are all the different strategies that I can think of. If you can find another way, that's fantastic. Go ahead and add it as a comment on the video. Teachers, if you would like a copy of this slide deck for your own use in the classroom, you can find it on my website, 5minutemath.net.